From his multi-billion-dollar Twitter takeover to the infamous Twitter files, it's been a big year for Elon Musk. The left-wing media making it clear how they feel about the world's richest man, as 2022 saw them turn against him. So what can we expect in 2023? Pollster and former Clinton advisor Mark Penn joins us now. So, Mark, when the media is accusing someone of doing certain things they don't like or piling on, they tend to be in opposition with what the people actually think.
Well, that's really the way I see it. In our most recent Harris poll, actually, Elon Musk did quite well. He certainly did better than President Biden, even better than Donald Trump. 45% like him, 37% don't like him, but 64% believe that he has really uncovered secret political censorship by the employees of Twitter, and that their First Amendment rights have been impinged. They want investigations. They want it resolved. America wants the First Amendment back, and it looks like Elon Musk is, frankly, the best positioned to bring the First Amendment back in the fastest possible way.
Mark, politics tends to make its way into everything. I wouldn't say that Elon Musk is necessarily a political person, but because he's been exposing all of this political censorship that was coming from the federal government through a private company, subverting the First Amendment and the Constitution, he has become a political figure and someone that people are looking to maybe in terms of elections, presidential nominees, and as you mentioned, how these leaders will move forward with the issue of free speech.
Well, look, I don't think there's going to be Elon Musk for president out there, but he is serving the role of standing up to the powerful. And America loves that. America loves people who stand up to the FBI, to the forces out there, to employees that censor things secretly, to the elites, to the media. And he is now doing all of that. And he's in the process bringing Twitter back as a people's platform. The elites may be abandoning it, the mainstream media may be trashing it. I think what he's got to do is to make a clear declaration of principles, stop doing this piece by piece, and really get out there and say, hey, these are the 10 principles. Science can be debated. We'll remove content that is, that is this way and that incites violence and that steps over what's pornographic. We will leave content that is a fair, reasoned debate. He has to get out there and really make it clear, because I think he's wasted a lot of time ping-ponging back and forth. But if he does that, I think he can be very successful.
So Republicans are going to be taking over the House here in 4 days and have vowed to do some oversight on big tech and their relationship with the FBI, Homeland Security. But as we know from the Twitter files, there wasn't just one topic that was censored by the federal government. It was the Afghanistan withdrawal, COVID-19 policy that was at odds with the White House, whether it was other issues that the government didn't want out there. So what topics do you see taking a front seat as Republicans take control and launch these investigations?
Yeah, let me again give you a couple of findings from the latest Harris poll. 67% want an investigation into what were the tech companies doing, whether it's with the Hunter Biden laptop or the election, or censoring Americans rather than the idea of censoring, foreign governments that were supposedly, the justification for having 80 FBI agents in a task force. And 70% want legislation to protect themselves from censorship. Yeah. These are big numbers.
Yeah, they want legislation to protect citizens from the government. So we'll be watching. Mark Penn, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.